All right. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the brand new Middleborough High School. This ceremony has been a long time coming, as we will have spent 1 year in this beautiful brand new school. On April 26th was our very first day of school when we transitioned from the old Middleborough High School into the new one. And like everything else in the last 2 years, it has just been a wild time. And so we're finally here in this space and this time to be able to really welcome and to celebrate the brand new high school, and also to mark a new chapter and a new journey for Middleborough Public Schools and also for the town of Middleborough. So we're really excited that you're here today, and thank you to all of the members of the community that came out for this event today. And also we are so excited to open our home to all of you, for you to be able to come in and visit and to explore and to see the magnificent facility that we now have for all of the children of our town for generations to come. So at this time, I'd like to introduce a very special guest and invite our senior class president, Mr. Matthew Gavush, who will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Welcome, Matt.
Good afternoon, everyone. Could you all please rise for the pledge to the flag? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Thank you, Matt. And if you can please remain standing, as I'd like to introduce the Middleborough High School Concert Choir under the direction of Mr. Patrick Converse, who will be singing the national anthem.
Say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you so much, Concert Choir. Thank you, Mr. Converse. At this time, as you see in our program, we have quite a few people that wanted to be part of this celebration, because in order to, I think, complete such a magnificent building such as this, it takes a tremendous amount of people who are committed to really bring a vision to life. And at this time, we'd like to begin with a person from day one partnered with all stakeholders to ensure the fact that this building came to life. And a special welcome to the chair of the Middleborough High School Building Committee, Mr. Rob DeRoches.
Thank you, Paul, for the kind introduction. Thank you all for coming today to this rather belated ceremony. Today we celebrate the completion of the largest construction project the town of Middleborough has ever attempted. There are many organizations and individuals who have come together over the past 8 years to make this happen. I am sure that the speakers to follow will recognize every one of them and their contributions to the project. This has been a successful project. I think the overriding reason that we have had this success is because of one principle we've stuck to from the outset, and that's craftsmanship. And I don't mean well-laid bricks and mortar or cabinets that are plumb and level, though we have abundance of that in the building. I mean pride in one's profession or trade that goes well beyond doing a job merely well. We were fortunate to have a great building committee that came together quickly and went the extra mile in preparing for the project. Our first decision may have been our best. We selected Compass Project Management as our owner's representative, not because they looked good on paper, but because the people we interviewed showed us a personal commitment to their profession. They care. Compass helped us to select the fine folks at DRA as our project architect. Again, they were brought on board because of the emphasis they placed on personal involvement. These professionals don't just design buildings for a living. They committed to working with us as a community to design a one-of-a-kind school that would work for us because they care. With a solid set of plans, we went out to bid and were lucky enough to end up with Fontaine Brothers as our general contractor, a family-owned, fourth-generation construction business with a fabulous reputation for quality and craftsmanship. Once again, they care about what they do. Everyone on the project was professional. Everyone knew their job and did their part with energy, enthusiasm, and personal involvement. That includes the school faculty, the town government, and the MSBA staff. I cannot emphasize enough how much the people involved in this project, many of them here today, came together like a family to do this work. When each member of a team strives for craftsmanship, it elevates everybody's game, and the end result always ends up being more than the sum of the parts. I want to thank everyone on the team for giving this project, in these difficult times, their very best effort and the highest level of craftsmanship. The results speak for themselves. It has been an honor working with all of you. Thank you.
Rob, thank you so much. And now to introduce the chair of the Middleborough Public Schools School Committee, Mr. Richard Young.
Thank you, Paul. Good afternoon, everybody. Almost exactly 7 years ago, Mike Malone, who was our interim superintendent, Kathy Piatelli, our business manager, and I had our first meeting with MSBA. What still strikes me to this day is the comment that they made about the process. They told us, you will be surprised at how many people, how many entities have a hand in the building by the time you get to the end. No truer words could have been spoken. So today my role in this gathering is the same role I've had every time we've had one of these very special events. It's a chance to thank those who made this majestic building a reality. First and foremost, I want to thank our partner in this endeavor. The Massachusetts School Building Authority has been with us from before the start. And thank you, Jack. And what I mean by before the start is that they constantly encourage schools and towns to begin the process of engaging with them in projects. When you are chosen, they give you their expertise and years of experience to help the process run smoothly and transparently. The moment you sit down with them, MSBA explains that they will be standing with you all the way. Their promise has been kept and greatly appreciated. I want to thank the citizens of Middleborough, those who showed up at town meeting to vote the project along unanimously each step of the way, those voters who showed up at the special town election to give the final approval to a nearly $100 million project, even those who voted against it. Because of your concerns and issues, we constantly kept those in our mind each step of the way. Everyone who sat on the building committee knew we needed to make sure this project was under budget and the type of building that we had promised the community. Thank you to those who served with me on the building committee. You all came and rolled up your sleeves each and every meeting, spent a lot of time reviewing a lot of material, and your work stands before us today. Having spent time with each of you, I cannot express my heartfelt thanks for your commitment and efforts. Our other partners who have jumped in along the way to create what stands before you. Compass, that started early to lead us. DRA for designing a state-of-the-art facility that will serve as a hub for our town. And Fontaine for building the vision of the community, and DRA. The amazing part for me is that I remember the amount of companies that vied for each of those positions. Sitting through those countless interviews, trying to develop a team, each and every time, we unanimously picked the people we picked. Your ideas and visions really resonated with us and jumped off the pages of your proposal. Thanks to each of you for articulating your dreams for Middleborough. I want to thank our legislative delegation, Senator Pacheco, Representatives Gifford, Oral, and Lenatra. They have been with us, they're here with us, and they've been with us willing to help and celebrate each step along the way. Special thanks should go to Representative Oral's wife, Kiko, who was a representative when this process started, and we appreciate her offers. We also want to thank Congressman Keating for his help in securing additional resources and funds. When COVID hit, we were able to use those dollars to put additional safety measures into the building that did not impact the taxpayer of Middleborough. We should also take the time to thank the leadership of Plymouth County Commissioners and their treasurer, Tom O'Brien, who administers those funds and ensured this project received them. Special thanks to the student and staff of Middleborough. Thanks for putting up with all you had to endure during this project. The sounds of building, the distractions of machinery, bad parking, constant away games, playing in different places, to name a few. Please know that throughout the problems, you were the focus of all of us involved. We wanted to build a place where you could be proud and a place that would serve our community for years to come. Finally, there are three people who deserve special thanks. Our principal, Paul Brannigan, has gone above and beyond on this project. I cannot tell you the exact number of extra pieces that were added to his workload because of this project. Time and time again, Paul would step up and produce things that made sure every milestone was met. He was singular in his vision to create a 21st century building for staff and students. Paul, I cannot express enough that this project would not be what it is without your leadership and vision. Rob DeRoches has been our fearless leader on this building committee since its inception. His knowledge has proved time and time again to be enormously beneficial. Rob is one of those people who volunteers to serve his community. He took time off from work and his business to constantly ensure the project stayed on track. Rob, this community owes you a debt of gratitude that few will understand unless they had the great fortune of working alongside you during this project. And last, but certainly not least, our superintendent, Brian Lynch. When the thought of this project began, Brian was a principal in Bridgewater. A few months later, he would join us to lead our school. More importantly, Brian would lead our community. What I mean by this is that although this committee was transparent in every piece of information it had, Brian is the one who sold it to our town. It made it easier having a resident of the town run the school system, someone who graduated from the old building, raised his family here, and whose family had a long history of service here. When we began searching for a superintendent those many years ago, a young lady challenged me. Find a person who doesn't want to be superintendent. Find someone who wants to be the superintendent of Middleborough. Brian, as you close out and are only a few short months from retiring, please know there is no doubt in my mind that this building is here because we found that superintendent who wanted Middleborough. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Young. And I would like to introduce to you the Middleborough Town Manager, Mr. Bob Nooms.
Thank you, Paul. On behalf of the Board of Selectmen and Chairman of the Board of Selectmen, Mark Germain, is with us this afternoon. I would like to extend their greetings as well as my own. This afternoon, we celebrate the opening of the new Middleborough High School and the rededication of the Wayne M. Caron Auditorium. I would like to sincerely thank the dedicated staff and volunteers who made this project a success. The members of the School Building Committee, led by Chairman Rob DeRoches, have worked tirelessly to ensure that the construction of this new high school had the interests of Middleborough's community in mind and to ensure that the community's tax dollars were spent wisely and efficiently. To both past and present members of the School Building Committee, thank you for your dedication and service to the town. I would also like to thank Superintendent Brian Lynch and Middleborough High School teachers and staff, led by Principal Paul Brannigan, for their dedication to our students and for facilitating a seamless transition into this new building. Thank you to the Massachusetts School Building Authority, and it's great to see Jack McCarthy here, for the funding that helped relieve a portion of the project's cost burden from taxpayers. And finally, of course, a special thank you to the taxpayers of Middleborough who made all this possible. This project would not have been possible without the teams of engineers, architects, construction managers, and contractors who have worked in partnership with the town over the last 6 years. Christy Murphy and the team at Compass Project Management provided essential guidance and dedicated countless hours of hard work to this project. Thank you, Christy, for working with town department heads and town employees on this endeavor. It has been a pleasure working with you and your team. The expertise of the team at DRA has been indispensable, and I thank them for their work. And finally, I would like to thank Fontaine Brothers and all the subcontractors who worked year-round through COVID and every type of weather to construct this building. The state-of-the-art facility has been designed to cater to the needs of students, and thanks to extensive collaboration and input from the community, it also provides a large area of public outdoor space for athletic pursuits, including access to all fields and the track. It is essential for every community to pursue the education and development of its students. Middleborough is committed to providing its youth with the highest quality education possible, and thanks to the collaborative efforts of numerous groups and individuals, the new Middleborough High School will provide our students with the modern, productive environment necessary to reach their full potential. So, in closing, I would like to wish the Middleborough High School Citation community many, many years of excellence in this beautiful new school. Thank you.
Thank you, Bob, so very much. I now would like to introduce members of our delegation for our state leadership. At this time, I would like to introduce Representative Susan Gifford and welcome her.
Good afternoon, everyone. Boy, it must sure feel good. You did it. You completed a task. You didn't give up. When anything came up, you worked together to pull together to make sure that this beautiful school became a reality. There are a lot of people to thank, many who have already been thanked by the previous speakers. I just want to add my thanks and congratulations to all the people who worked so very hard from the very beginning when this was just a vision, and there was a long road that had to be traveled to get to this point. And we're finally here, and you should all be so very, very proud. And I also do want to thank my delegation at the State House. We played very small roles in the overall scheme of things, but we all agreed that this was such an important project for the community, and we did what we needed to do as a delegation to deliver any assistance that we possibly could to make sure that this became a reality. So enjoy it, congratulations, and thank you again to everybody who worked so hard to make this happen.
Thank you, Representative Gifford. It's now with great pleasure to introduce to you Representative Norman Orr.
just want to say congratulations to the school committee, the building committee, and Rob and the rest of his team. Congratulations to all the folks that worked so hard to make this happen. And congratulations to the citizens of Middleborough. Look at this fantastic facility that you have. And it's the building, it's the grounds, everything looks great. So congratulations. But especially congratulations to all of you students that are starting out here or finishing here. It's an exciting time. We hope that we have many great years left and those that follow you. And we just are so excited for you. And as my colleague, Rep. Gifford, just said, we're very honored to do our part in making these things happen. And we just look forward to many, many great years. So congratulations, everyone.
Thank you, Representative Oro. And now it's a great pleasure to introduce to you our next representative, Representative Kathleen Lenatra.
Good afternoon, everyone. I was just reminiscing that this is the first groundbreaking that I was ever invited to, and I did not take a shovel. I really regret not taking a shovel from that groundbreaking. So it's an honor to be here and see what a marvelous school that you have, and how fortunate you are that you have a community that invests in their young people and values education. So you're very fortunate, the whole town is fortunate to have all these wonderful people that have the vision of this school, and here it is. Congratulations, and it's almost summer.
The students reminded me today that we only have 9 more Mondays when we come back from vacation. Who's counting, I suppose? Thank you so much. And next, it's with great pleasure to introduce to you, and we're so glad he could join us today, Congressman Bill Keating.
Well, congratulations to the students that are here. You're what this is all about. Special congratulations to the class of 2022. Let's hear it for class of 2022. As you move on and move forward, all the best to you. You won't be the only one moving forward because your superintendent will be moving on in June himself. Superintendent Lynch, all the best, and thank you for this great part of your legacy as you move forward. The same with, and best of luck to Carolyn Lyons as she moves forward in her new role as well. Jack McCarthy, with the school committee, he's a veteran of so many of these and still works so hard with Treasurer Goldberg to make sure that these projects go along and the funding goes well. Special congratulations, of course, to Rob DeRoches and the building committee, putting in the work that you did selflessly. These are the days you celebrate, even though it's a year later, because day to day dealing with all the issues is no fun. And same with the Board of Selectmen, Chair German as well. My friend of long years, Rich Young, Chairman of the school committee and school committee members. This is a great day for all of you as well. And to my legislative colleagues, Senator Chico, Representative Lenatra, Representative Gifford, Representative Rell. It's always a pleasure working with you on projects and seeing how the state can come together with the federal government in these kind of projects. This is a beautiful new building, a new beginning. Everything is new in this. Well, almost everything is new. There's one thing that's not new in this, and it's been carried forward. And that's the name of the person who the auditorium will carry forth their name on, and that's Wayne Caron, a Medal of Honor recipient here in Middleborough. And what a thoughtful thing to carry on that tradition, even with a new building, to make sure that his legacy and his service is always remembered. I can't help but think of the confluence of that naming and something that I will never forget in my life that's so important. Years ago, I traveled to visit our troops and to have in-country reports and briefings in Afghanistan when a hot war exists. I went there and saw Marines like Wayne Caron. They are serving their country. And I always would ask them, if there's anything we could do, let me know. And this time, those Marines said, yes, there is. If you could come into the village. And I want to show you two things. The first thing he showed me was a school. These were soldiers that were in active firefights in the Helmand Province, where it was really quite violent at the time. They were there at night, exhausted. But during the day in their spare time, they gathered together and they took scraps of wood and some extra concrete. And what did they do in Afghanistan, Helmand Province, in that village? They built a school. Now, it's not a school like this. It was a school that didn't have desks, just benches and pieces of wood. But the pride of the people in that village, in that school, as the children walked around, they would wear a pencil in their pocket with great pride because they learned how to read and write. Half the country was illiterate and didn't know how to read and write. And so these Marines took pride in bringing that American trait, that American fundamental, to a war zone to try and help children and to try and move forward. And the second thing they asked me to do was to thank a person who was giving them information, saving American lives by telling our Marines and our other military that was there where the Taliban was, giving them information that saved countless lives. And they asked me to thank that gentleman. So I went to him to thank him personally as a member of Congress, and I had one question to ask him. I asked him, why are you risking your life? Why is this so important? And at that moment, he moved from behind himself and brought out his 8-year-old son. And he said, this is the reason I'm risking my life. I want him to have an education. I want him to have a chance. And as you go through that auditorium and you remember the sacrifice of Wayne Caron, remember the sacrifice of so many other Americans, but remember those Marines in that village who took their time to create a school. If anything is an American value, it's that education. It's that chance in life. And we shouldn't take it for granted, and we don't here in Middleborough. By coming together as a community, every taxpayer here, parents here, officials here, they came together and sacrificed themselves to help the students. But in America, we have a different view. We know that by helping students, giving young people a chance, we're making our country stronger for generations to come. So thank all of you in Middleborough for doing what communities do best, what Americans do best, and that is make our country greater in the future. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, Congressman. And at this time, it's with great pleasure of someone who has partnered with us from the very beginning, the Executive Director of the Massachusetts School Building Authority, Mr. Jack McCarthy.
It's a big step. Thanks, Paul. Good afternoon, everybody. On behalf of Treasurer Goldberg and some other folks here from the MSBA, Maria Popolo, Jim McDonald, who's the first deputy and CEO of the MSBA way back there, and Maria's right there, and next to Maria is Ashley Smith, who is the project manager for this project. Thank you for coming, Ashley. You know, the mission of the Mass School Building Authority is to partner with Massachusetts communities to support the design and construction of educationally appropriate, flexible, sustainable, and cost-effective public school facilities. This project certainly met that ideal. Benjamin Franklin once said, an investment in education pays the best interest. And we at the MSBA are proud to be your investing partners to the tune of a little bit over $41 million for this project. Folks have talked about your legislative delegation, and I think that Representative Gifford understated the role that they had. They were always there to make sure that we took care of Middleborough, and so I thank them all for their leadership, and we miss Senator Pacheco not being here. And I got to tell you, it's not often, well, I shouldn't say it's not often, but it's not often for a congressman to appear at something like this, other than when it's in Senator Keating's district, because he's here at so many of these because he cares about education and he cares about you all. So thank you, Senator Keating, for being here. And I just want to congratulate Rob DeRozier and Brian Lynch and Paul Brannigan. You know, they've all been talking about, you know, what a great job Compass did, DRA, and Fontaine Brothers. But guess what? You are the ones that picked them. You are the ones that had the foresight and the good sense to bring this group together. And, you know, I knew this job was going to be on time and on budget because that's what those three groups do for us all over the Commonwealth. So thank you for your leadership, and thank you to those folks for doing what they do all the time for us. I'm going to talk to the students for a second. So in order for this project to happen, the town of Middleborough had to do what's called a debt exclusion override. So what that means is your parents, your neighbors, they went to the polls and voted to raise their own taxes. And you say, why would anyone want to raise their own taxes? But I look around at you, I look around at the great leadership you have, and it's so clear why. And it's because you deserve it. You deserve to have a first-class education so you can compete in a global economy. So I always do this with the younger kids, but there's so many kids, so many students here. So I'm going to ask you to just, in your big voices, I would say to the little kids, but just on the count of three, look out at these folks, pick someone to look them in the eye and just say thank you. Okay, if you want to do it, I know it's a little juvenile, but it's going to work. So everybody, 1, 2, 3. Thank you. Okay. When I do that at an elementary school, it takes the kids a lot longer to settle down afterwards. And usually the principal's not happy with me. So you guys bailed me out. I always like to end my talks with this quote. Dan Valentine was a reporter for the Salt Lake City Tribune. And he once described a school as a building of 4 walls with tomorrow inside. And we at the MSBA are proud to be part of the Sachems tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. McCarthy. I always say that you never work a day in your life when you do something that you love. And each day I count my blessings for the environment and the community that I am lucky to enough to have called home that fosters such excellence in education. I've called MHS home since the fall of 1996, and there's no other place I'd rather be than here, wearing the orange and the black and being a Sachem. I think this is a feeling that is shared with everyone here today. I will never find the right words on how to thank the town of Middleborough for giving the students of this town the greatest of gifts. The new Middleborough High School is a game changer, and watching our students collaborate, engage, learn, grow, and play is something that is truly amazing. Close to 3 years ago, the journey began of building this beautiful state-of-the-art high school when we put shovels into the ground. Today, we enter a new chapter in the story of Middleborough Public Schools. Thank you for giving me the greatest joy in being a part of this incredible project. You will notice that many students representing all aspects of our school community are joining us here today. They are here to thank you for supporting this project, believing in their future, and allowing them to spread their wings beyond compare. The band and chorus thank you for the amazing Performing Arts Center, the close to 300 student athletes that are here in uniform to thank you for giving them their new athletic center and complex to grow and demonstrate the power of the orange and the black. Watching our teams use this beautiful facility is really special. Additionally, the students and the faculty and staff here this afternoon thank you for providing a learning space that cultivates students to grow and to be future ready. It will allow students to find their passion. Our new home is strong, and that it's all that it means to be a Sachem is woven into the fabric of this new school. The story of MHS has always been strong. Our story has always been proud. And with our new home, our story will continue. And we are excited to see what is to come for our school and our community. Thank you to DRA, our fabulous architectural team, to Compass Property Management, the Fontaine Brothers Construction, the Vote Yes for MHS crew that mobilized, and of course every single member of this community that supported this project. The vision that you all had for a new high school in Middleborough has come to life, and we are forever grateful. We are Sachems, we are one. Thank you for giving the greatest of gifts. Thank you. And now it's a pleasure to introduce some student voice today who get to benefit from the unbelievable gift you have given. Introducing the Student Council President, Mr. Zach Lowell.
Thank you, Brandon. Some buildings are more than walls, concrete, and bricks. The Empire State Building, the Capitol Building, the Space Needle. The work that happens in these buildings, along with their sheer beauty and history, is what makes them so deeply rooted in our memories. Now, I'm not saying that this new high school compares in architectural design to that of the Burj Khalifa. It's certainly not as tall. But in some ways, its presence means more than any of the monuments I've mentioned. For those who remember the old high school, depending on when you went there, you might remember it as the new high school, or maybe you remember it as the big rectangular brick building if you never went there at all. Throughout the years since the old high school was built in 1971, it had taken some beatings. By the time I entered the school my freshman year, there were many leaks in the ceiling, the hallways filled with buckets to catch the water, the outside of the building was dilapidated. Every time it would rain, water would flood into the classrooms through the vents under the window, and air bubbles formed under the gym floor. Although it had its flaws, it also had its impressive qualities. The staff committed to helping their students succeed. Amazing sports programs, a well-developed performing arts program, outstanding television production program, one of the largest and most spirited student councils in the state, and the list goes on and on. The new Middleborough High School, as it stands behind me today, was designed with these groups in mind and its students in mind. A state-of-the-art TV production studio that is college grade, an outdoor theater, athletic fields located right on campus, an outstanding weight room and fitness center, certainly way better than a few dumbbells behind the bleachers. A design space equipped with all of the latest cutting-edge technology and common areas for students to collaborate. The design of this new building will allow students to become more skilled and experienced in whichever facet they find of interest. This space allows students to imagine what they could do, who they could be, and what they will become. As the first student body president to serve a full term on this campus, there was a lot of weight on my shoulders, and with the restrictions of the ongoing pandemic, I won't lie in saying that I was a tad worried about what my board and I could pull off. But we thought on our feet, knowing what students were truly looking for was a sense of togetherness and connection. We set forth on emulating those qualities. We pulled off a back-to-school dance, a new leadership overload event, turkey games, an incredible outdoor homecoming, and bingo nights. We collected over 500 non-perishable food donations and 200 toy donations through a great holiday party alongside the Conway House and raised funds for relief efforts in Ukraine. It was clear to see that the students were still committed to the spirit of what it means to be a Sachem. That is something we will never lose. I know this school and this campus will be one that allows its students to achieve beyond what they could have ever first imagined. And I'm so grateful to be part of the first class to attend the new Middleborough High School. Thank you.
Thank you, Zach. It's now a great pleasure to introduce a young woman who, when this entire process started with our groundbreaking, she served as the freshman class president. And now she serves as our school committee chair, and we thought it was only right to have her come back to close her journey. So introducing to you, Natalia Parkinson.
Hi everyone, good afternoon. I'm Natalia Parkinson, the school committee student representative and a member of the senior class. 3 years ago, when I spoke at the groundbreaking ceremony, I made the promise that with the class of 2022, being the first graduating class to complete a full academic school year at the new Middleborough High School, we would do our best to reinstill the sense of togetherness that existed within the old school. Throughout the past year, despite ongoing challenges, we have worked to regain that sense of community. Even with the school that was new and unfamiliar to all, we have created ways to make this place feel like home. And while traditions and values carried over, there is no question that the new Middleborough High School has so much more to offer. From the MI Lab to the state-of-the-art technology to the sports complex, the list goes on and on. So on behalf of all Middleborough High School students, current and future, we want to thank everyone who made this possible, providing us with the tools and environment we need to succeed. Thank you.
Thank you, Natalia. And now to represent our student body who will spend all 4 years in the new building, our freshman class president, Mr. Jacob Waterman.
Hi, everybody. Good afternoon. Today we officially mark on the end of one chapter and the beginning of another, just like our freshman class of 2025 did this year. We ended the chapter of middle school and embarked on a new one, the beginning of our high school careers. We gather here today to celebrate our new home, a place my class of 2025 gets to call home for the next 4 years. The first class to do so in this state-of-the-art new building. From the classrooms to the gym, the TV production space to the cafeteria, this building is nothing short of great. It excites me that it is the class of 2025 that gets the honor and privilege to be the first class to stay all 4 years in this brand new beautiful building. But it's even more exciting that we'll be the ones to keep the building in the best shape possible for all of us to learn and become the best of ourselves. Thank you to my principal, Mr. Brannigan, and Superintendent Lynch for your tireless dedication and work for the smooth transition from one building to the next. I'd also like to thank the many great people of Middleborough for making this happen. As a community, you made this possible for us. You made it possible for the young sachems of Middleborough to wake up every morning and head off to a fabulous place of learning every single day. And because of your faith and utmost confidence in us, our dreams will one day become reality. Thank you.
Thank you, Jacob. Now at this time, we'd like to turn our attention to a very special and historic part of our brand new school, the Wayne M. Karen Auditorium within our new Performing Arts Center. At this time, I'd like to introduce Mr. Bob Lassard and Mr. Paul Provencher, our Veteran Services, from Veteran Services to lead the official rededication of the Wayne M. Karen Auditorium.
My name is Bob Lassard. I am an Air Force veteran and a military historian for the Simeon L. Nickerson Post 64 American Legion. Most folks know that Wayne M. Karen was awarded the Congressional Medal of Honor while serving as a Navy corpsman with a Marine detachment in Vietnam. A short history of the Medal of Honor reveals that over the history of the United States and through all the wars, millions of men have fought for the country. But what most don't realize is that only 3,530 Medal of Honor citations have been awarded throughout the history. Think of that for a moment. Only 3,530 Medals of Honor in the entire history of the United States. Wayne's Medal of Honor joins with an earlier Middleborough resident in gaining that honor. Patrick J. Reagan, a World War I U.S. Army lieutenant who listed Middleborough as his hometown, was the first Medal of Honor recipient for our town of his heroics. Thus, we have two extraordinary heroes listing Middleborough as their hometown. Something to be truly proud of. The Pine Street Bridge between Middleborough and Carver, hopefully in the near future, should be named the Medal of Honor Bridge. We are just waiting for a State House approval from the Senate. Carver has a Civil War Medal of Honor recipient, Lowell Maxim. At today's dedication of the new Middleborough High School, I wish to invite the residents and guests, as you tour the building, please visit the display area of the Wayne M. Caron Auditorium. Thanks to Mr. Brannigan, high school principal, for his fine work in organizing the Wayne Caron artifacts for his display. And a special thanks to Paul Provencher as caretaker of the bell while he was a veterans agent. In fact, he was in here yesterday shining it up.
Along with you there, Bob.
Yeah, I forgot that. On display are artifacts from Wayne's career as a corpsman in the United States Navy. Most prominently displayed is the 600-pound ship's bell from the USS Caron, DD 970. Included are many photos of the USS Caron and, of course, Wayne. The bell has a special importance to me. When the ship was being decommissioned, our selectmen sent our congressional delegation a request for something from the ship. Many weeks went by without any good news. Then present town manager Jack Healy asked me to help. He offered me the use of his office phone, which I did use and spent several hours calling every naval facility in Washington, D.C., getting the rejections you wouldn't believe. And finally, after 2 hours or so, a gentleman on the phone said, "Well, I bet you're getting the runaround." And when I told him, "Yeah, I sure was," he says, "I'll tell you what do you want?" I said, "Something from the ship," because of his Medal of Honor reputation. And he said, "Well, I can get you an anchor. I can get you the cannon." And I said, "Do we have to pay the freight?" So when he told me we did, I said, "You got something smaller off the bridge." He then gave me the name of a fellow. He says, "Call this guy, talk to him, and see what he can do." So the next gentleman said, "What do you want?" I said, "Something off the bridge. We can't use the anchor or the cannon." And next thing I know, after he agreed to send us something off the bridge, a big box arrived at Town Hall with my name on it, on a tractor trailer. It was bigger than a coffin. The bell, by the way, weighs 600 pounds when you go in there, so you can imagine the size of that box. So this ship's bell has been permanently displayed over the past years during Memorial Day and Veterans Day services at Middleborough's Veterans Memorial Park. I wish to thank the citizens of Middleborough, school and town officials, and especially the town citizens for the support of the veterans. Now I'd like you to read Wayne Caron's Medal of Honor citation. And I know a lot of you fellas don't have it, and girls don't have it out there. This is from you do have a copy spreading around here. "The President of the United States, in the name of Congress, takes pride in presenting the Medal of Honor posthumously to Hospital Corpsman 3rd Class Wayne M. Caron, United States Navy, for service as set forth in the following." The citation reads, "For conspicuous gallantry and intrepidity at the risk of his life, above and beyond the call of duty on 28 July 1968, while serving as a platoon corpsman with Company K, 3rd Battalion, 7th Marines, the 1st Marine Division, during combat operations against enemy forces in the Republic of Vietnam. While on a sweep through an open rice field in Quang Nam Province, Petty Officer Caron's unit started receiving enemy small arms fire. Upon seeing 2 Marine casualties fall, he immediately ran to render first aid, but found they were dead. At this time, the platoon was taken under intense small arms and automatic weapons fire, sustaining additional casualties. As he moved to the aid of his wounded comrades, Petty Officer Caron was hit in the arm by enemy fire. Although knocked to the ground, he regained his feet and continued to the injured Marines. He rendered medical assistance to the first Marine he reached. He was grievously wounded and undoubtedly was instrumental in saving a man's life. Petty Officer Karen then ran toward the second wounded Marine, but was again hit by enemy fire, this time in the leg. Nevertheless, he crawled the remaining distance and provided medical assistance for his severely wounded man. Petty Officer Karen continued to make his way to yet another injured comrade when he was again struck by enemy small arms fire. Courageously and with unbelievable determination, Petty Officer Karen continued his attempt to reach the third Marine until he was killed by an enemy rocket round. His inspiring valor, steadfast determination, and selfless dedication to duty in the face of extreme danger sustain and enhance the finest tradition of the United States Naval Service. He gallantly gave his life in the service of his country. Signed, Richard M. Nixon, President. Thank you. Here we go again. Thank you.
Thank you, Bob, very much. Thank you, Paul. And we are really excited for you to see the Wayne M. Karen Memorial. Before we introduce our final speaker, just for everyone here today, upon the conclusion of the ribbon cutting, we invite you, which by the way has been sponsored by the Boston Tavern, so we're really thankful for their contributions and their partnership today. Also, when you come in to enjoy the wonderful reception and celebration of the new school, also members of our student leadership team will be available to give you tours of our new home. Also, feel free to do a self-guided tour if you would like. Our school is designed in 3 buildings: the Academic Center, which is over here, and behind us is the Performing Arts Center and the Athletic Center. In the area where the reception is, our rotunda and student commons serves as the hub of the school. And at this time, it gives me great pleasure to introduce to you who was so instrumental in this building and really the movement and the growth of Middleborough Public Schools, the Superintendent, Mr. Brian Lynch.
Thanks, Brian. That's a step up. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome, Congressman Keating, Representatives Lenatra, Gifford, and Orrell, MSBA Executive Director Jack McCarthy, Town Manager Bob Nunes, School Committee Chair Rich Young, Middleborough Police Chief Joe Perkins, Middleborough Fire Chief Lance Benjamino, members of the Middleborough Board of Selectmen, members of the Middleborough School Committee past and present, Middleborough Building Committee Chair Rob DeRozier, members of the School Building Committee, Middleborough community members, District Administration, MHS Administration, faculty and staff, and especially all of our MHS students present here this afternoon. I think I got everybody. It is indeed an honor and a pleasure for me to close out today's ribbon cutting ceremony. As I have mentioned before, and a couple of people have mentioned, as a young boy I grew up in this town. My father was the superintendent of schools, and when we came to town, a new high school needed to be built. He started that process. I used to drive around with him on Saturdays, on the Saturday driving tours, and watch the high school get built. That school is where that parking lot is now. And as Joni Mitchell would sing, they paved paradise and put up a parking lot. 50 years later, this building was being constructed. I drove around with my own daughter, Grace, who was 10 years old at the time and now 13, doing these Saturday tours. She was very much interested in the construction of the school, but she looked at it with different eyes. I looked at it as a superintendent saying, boy, I wonder if it'll ever be finished. I wonder if it'll get done. And she looked at it with amazement saying, boy, that's going to be my home. That's going to be the school I'm going to attend for 4 years, and which she will do. And she'll be here, Brandon, in the blink of an eye, and all her friends. The new Middleborough High School has been the realization of a dream for this community. And I'd like to thank the Commonwealth of Massachusetts and the Mass School Building Authority for their partnership in making this dream a reality. It should be noted that our legislators present here today have and will hopefully continue to support the MSBA and all the important work they do to assist communities build state-of-the-art facilities like ours here. Thank you. It has been said that vision without action is merely a dream, and that action without vision is simply passing the time. Vision needs to be combined with action to make a positive difference. We have our perfect example of this here today. The vision for this third millennium Middleborough High School was carefully identified and developed through the collective efforts of our students, faculty, staff, community members, and Paul Brannigan Jr., principal. The education plan for this school, which is about that thick, which captured the vision, was written mainly by Paul Brannigan, AKA Bran. With the occasional input and assistance of others, but this was a tremendous amount of work that he had to complete, but for Bran, it was truly a labor of love. Thanks, Bran. Come on, give Bran a hand. Now we go from vision to action. The action planning steps were completed by the Middleborough High School Building Committee under the excellent leadership of Rob DeRozier, with the guidance and experience of Compass Project Management and DRA design team. Ultimately, this action planning came with the acceptance of the proposed project by the Mass School Building Authority and the ultimate overwhelming approval of the citizens of the town of Middleborough. Thanks to everyone. The next level of action involved the actual construction, and that's when Fontaine Brothers Construction came in and all of their subcontractors to bring our vision to dreams. Many thanks to Dave Fontaine Sr., Dave Fontaine Jr., Tom Wolfman, and their entire crew. Thanks to all those folks. So with all these moving parts, we were able to combine a clear vision with specific and appropriate action steps. And I really think we made a positive difference, as you can plainly see. Personally, as many of you know, I will be retiring from the superintendency here in Middleborough on June 30th of this year, after 39 years in public education. And I must say today, as we cut the ribbon symbolizing the grand opening of this beautiful educational facility, which happened to be built primarily under my time as superintendent, I feel a little bit like Big Papi hitting a walk-off home run against the Yankees in the World Series. Before I close, I also wanted to send a special shout out to an individual who hasn't been named yet today, who went way above and beyond his duties and responsibilities to make this project successful. I know that everyone who worked on this project, from Compass to DRA to Fontaine Brothers to our school department, would agree that Jim Hutchinson's contributions to its success were truly remarkable. Hutch, we could not have done it without you. Thank you. Where are you, Hutch? Oh, he's back there. That's Hutch. Thought he was driving the white truck over there. I would like to close by saying that on behalf of a grateful and appreciative Middleborough public school community, I am fully confident that this beautiful educational facility and the educational community within will indeed make a positive and life-changing difference in the lives of countless Middleborough students for generations and generations to come. My deepest gratitude goes out to everyone who made this dream a reality for the Middleborough Public Schools. Thank you. I want to tell you that we had a Middleborough High School Building Committee meeting last night. I think, Rob, you said it was our 86th? It was our 86th meeting. And these scissors arrived, and the handles were red. And I said at the meeting, I said, we should paint them orange. And everybody laughed. Well, last night, Hutch painted them orange. So I'm going to hand it to you.
Bill, you're going to do it.
Oh, no, you are. No, Bram. This is all you. Paul Brannigan will now lead the ribbon cutting. You going to put your stuff in? Yeah.
If all of our special guests could make their way over towards the ribbon, and if our student leaders could move off to either side as they approach, and if our team captains from all of our spring sports, if you too could join on either side and around the sides here, because you're all part of this as well. And it's important to note that as soon as the ribbon is cut, our Middleborough High School Band, under the direction of Justin Pidsley, will do our, we think it's only appropriate that Hail to the Varsity is played. So thank you, everyone.
Hey, this is a forever pick. Freezing a little bit. Just a little bit. All right.